The benefits we have gained from being members of AABS is AABS has been our guardian. Our guardian in the sense that it has shown us the practicalities of building business schools. AABS has given us our relationship of an African setting, so we are connected to Africa. To enable students and also business schools insert themselves in the context of the whole society. Because sometimes I tend to feel that when our alumni leave the business school, the only tools they have are to go and compete as an industry and to compete to win, and that is a war. Thank you very much.
So you're suggesting we should do that, George?
I am suggesting that we need to ask our questions whether, is profit the real end of what we teach, or is it a good society? And if it is a good society, what should we do with our curriculum to ensure that?
The benefits of being involved in AABS have been considerable for us. I was fortunate to be involved in the formation of AABS in the early days and was privileged to be the first chair of the board. For GIBS, it's given us an understanding of African economies, built good relations with African business schools, and allowed us to think more deeply about the challenges of the continent as they lie ahead.
All the programs that AABS have come up with so far have been geared towards meeting their objectives, and I'm very glad that as a member of AABS, we've benefited, my school has benefited a lot from those activities, and I personally have benefited.
I also think that there's a lot of schools can learn from the Lagos Business School. We operate and manage to survive in very difficult situations, and we've been able to do that through the relationships that we built and several other things. And I think that it will be a good opportunity for a lot of the members who are also struggling to survive in their different difficult environments to see and learn from the things we've done not so well, learn from our mistakes, but also to learn from this. So I would very much welcome the chance to have everybody come to.
At some point in time, we may want to have quality checks on, I don't dare to call it accreditation yet, but quality checks on business schools just to assure that business schools in Africa have certain standards which we'll adhere to. So that's the way I see AABS going forward.
ISM vision is to work for putting education in Africa, in Senegalese, all the Senegalese country, and bringing students to come in Senegal, being Senegal being an hub for education in West African Francophone countries.
When you're a dean of a business school, it is tough. You sometimes have to struggle through problems with the university, with private sector, with funding, with salaries, with finding new staff. And it's very good to spend a few days with people who grapple with the same problems that you could talk to.
I think there is great potential for management development, and one of the successes or the things that we should be following on is to collaborate more closely among ourselves as African schools.
I believe that what association is doing has a very noble mission. And when I established CMAN with a group of small group of my colleagues, I didn't realize what I shall do. And today we see that we really set the standards of quality, that we were helping in the reform processes, that we were really an agent of change. And I see exactly the same role of this association.
The future for management education in Africa and the Association of African Business Schools is a key question. Africa is suffering from poverty, from an insignificant role within the global economy. We want the Association of African Business Schools to answer the link between business and poverty, the link between how we are going to grow for the sake of our own African people and what sort of academic transformative curriculum we're offering in the business schools. There is a process taking place. Africa seems out of that process within a global context. Is the Association of African Business Schools going to answer this? Already we have a growth that is significant in African countries despite the 2008-2009 crisis. And this growth has taken place without the significant role of the business schools in Africa, although in the South African context we may say that the business schools have played a significant role, and probably that is why South Africa takes more than lion's share of the economy of Africa. But for the rest of the African countries, can we copy something from South Africa?
As we know, Africa is a great source of resources, both of human resources for the world and of natural resources for the world. We have to turn this around and make sure that our human and natural resources are the engines of growth in the economy. And I think business schools have a very, very important part to play in that in Africa, to ensure that we have the skills we need to take up the challenges of the 21st century.